text line for you, Wiggy. And we talked a lot about this earlier, but I don't know if they're listening late on the app or whatever. Why would Wiggy be excited if the New England Patriots are not going to be selecting Travis Hunter at number 4? I think you're more excited because Abdul Carter may be available.
Yeah, that would be
based on the Schefter report.
Yeah, if Schefter is right and Tennessee does go with Cam Ward at number 1, then that means Cleveland's sitting there at 2 and the Giants are sitting there at 3. I believe the Giants are going to take Shedeur Sanders. I believe they're going to go after him. And Cleveland,
Shime has him not even in the top 10, right, Shime?
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't posted a mock in a little while now, but I'm leaning towards him being right around 21 to the Pittsburgh Steelers at the moment.
Shime is to be honest, Shime does a great job with his mock drafts, but he's the only one.
I'm not the only one.
I think there's one other guy.
No,
I think there's one other guy that has Shedeur Sanders outside the top 10.
I can literally name you 3.
Mel Kiper has him going number 3 to the Giants.
He also has Jackson Dart going number 9 to the Saints, which is insane.
Daniel Jeremiah.
What has Mel Kiper ever done with the draft? What does he know?
I beat him 2 years ago.
Daniel Jeremiah.
He beat your ass last year.
True. All right, 1-1.
Daniel Jeremiah's last mock draft before he has done his new one had him going number 7 to the Jets, I believe.
Yeah, okay.
Bucky
I
Brooks,
take your words for it.
Bucky Brooks had him in the Bucky Brooks had him in the top 10.
Yeah, and Lance Zierlein has him like 28.
Zierlein was the only guy that I
Trevor Sikkema at PFF has him falling out of the first round. Ryan McChrystal at Sharp Football Analysis has him 21 to the Steelers.
Trevor Sikkema.
What?
No,
Ryan McChrystal's been like the most accurate mock drafter in the last 3 years.
So what my thing is, Greg, is that I think the Giants take a quarterback. And now if you're Cleveland, you have to be sitting there going, we have Myles Garrett. We've signed a couple guys in free agency. They signed the outside linebacker, defensive end guy from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And they got to be saying, well, we have an elite pass rusher. Why not, if we're not going to take a quarterback, go after Travis Hunter? Because we would need an elite corner to go with an elite edge guy. And then if you still want to use him like as an offensive gadget guy, you could do that because Cleveland's probably going to need some help offensively.
Does that change in your mind if things go well when it comes to Jameis Winston and the Giants today? And
no, I still believe that the Giants are going to go after Shedeur. Even if they go and get a Jameis Winston for like a year or 2.
So you think they're completely out on Aaron Rodgers? Because there are some reports that they're just talking to people, but they're holding out to see what Aaron Rodgers ends up doing.
And I believe even with Aaron Rodgers, I think they still would be like Shedeur would be, because Daboll is on the hot seat, right? Mm-hmm. So Daboll's probably thinking, like, if I can get a veteran in there to get us in a position where we can turn things around and have a good year, I already have my quarterback for the future.
But you think that Shedeur Sanders, who has been pretty vocal about his demands, would be okay sitting behind Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, well, what's he been vocal about?
Well, his dad said that he's not going to go certain places. I don't see Dion being like, yeah, I want my son to go somewhere where he's going to sit.
Well, I think the Giants was one of the places where supposedly he had cleats and stuff in his locker room, or he was talking with Malik Neighbors one time, and he was like, oh, I might be a quarterback. So I
thought that was with the Raiders.
No, I think it was the Giants with Malik Neighbors. They were at like an all-star weekend or something like that. But I would just be happy with Abdul Carter if you could get him at number 4, because he could be
the foot doesn't worry you.
No, if they're saying he has like,
what if he has a scuba shoe?
Yeah, if he has the scuba shoes, he'll be fine. But if they're comparing him to like a guy like Micah Parsons, he's going to be a game changer on defense for you.
Does this concern you at all, Wiggs, that it feels like they're doing what they've always done, which is put all of their money on one side of the ball? Like,
it does. And
I agree. Abdul Carter, if he's there at 4, like, you'd probably be silly to pass it up. But who's catching passes? Who's protecting Drake May?
We talked about, Curtis, you're so right. We talked about it all morning yesterday, basically. What is their plan when it comes to a wide receiver on this football team who's not currently on the roster?
That to me is still, that's why I said that to me is the head scratcher.
They must have a plan.
What is that plan? I told you the 2 guys that are out there, the top 2 free agents that are left are Amari Cooper and Steph Diggs. And Steph Diggs is coming off the knee injury. So all right, unless you got some trade that you're trying to get done behind closed doors, behind the scenes, and a lot of people are really out on A.J. Brown. What other receivers out there that have we heard that potentially could be
What do you
trade
mean
people?
out on A.J. Brown?
Well, a lot of people say the Pats are not going to trade for A.J. Brown.
Well, I don't think.
Well, I think it's more likely the Eagles are not going to get rid of him. Is more
Okay, so whether you want to say the Eagles won't get rid of him or it's going to be really difficult to get him, what other receivers have you heard that might want out? The only one I could think of, and I haven't heard anything publicly, but it's got to be a little bit disgruntled, is George Pickens. DK Metcalf wanted out, he's gone. T. Higgins wanted new money, got a new contract. Jamar Chase wanted new money, got a new deal. Right? Devontae Adams, gone. Cooper Kupp, gone.
I think that what concerns me is that the reason they were so in on Chris Godwin is that he is impeccable when it comes to character, totally never been an issue with Mike Evans getting the #1 treatment, has always been a guy that does what he's asked, is always where he should be, and all of that. And the fact is that the Patriots can't be picky right now.
Right. And he's another one that's gone.
No.
Right. No, he's gone. But the fact is that the reason they're not going after Diggs is I bet Mike Vrabel says, I don't want to bring in my new,
He's going to be like a problem in the locker room.
Right.
But Cooper Kupp at half the price of Chris Godwin is a good locker room guy.
Right. But
and great for young wide receivers.
But the only thing I can think of there is I would have done it. So I'm not defending it, but maybe they just don't think he's as good, that he's washed.
He might be washed.
The other argument is that he didn't want to come here.
Right.
I mean, that's the other argument that you're
But weren't there reports from his side that he was intrigued?
Yes, he
I
was
don't know,
intrigued.
People say that was made up or that was trying to get the money up.
Because who was he? Kendrick Bourne? He and Kendrick Bourne know each other.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you can make that up, but I also think that Cooper Kupp, it just seems to me that even if he is not at his peak or washed, whatever you want to call it, he's still a veteran wide receiver. If you add him to the locker room, you're making that locker room better. And I don't care if he's not at the top of his game. At least add someone that
if you add him to that room, he's the best receiver in that room.
Right.
I agree with
Washed
you,
or
Courtney,
not.
100%. Yeah, he's
Wiggy, if you walked in that room, he'd be the second best receiver.
I don't know about that. So Greg, that's why I said, my lead was for Vrabel. We really need answers because I don't know what if they draft.
Also, everybody's texting in saying that Mike Vrabel is not going to bring Pickens into the locker room for the same reason as Diggs.
All right, well, maybe he doesn't. Okay, so if he doesn't bring Pickens in, where are you going? Where are you going?
Nowhere. That's the point. They're not going to add anymore.
Because even if you go out,
They're not going to add anybody else.
No, I mean, not anybody of value.
Draft-wise, so they're going to draft a wide receiver,
Yes.
and they're going to and maybe they feel like that it was all coaching last season when it came to these wide receivers, the young guys.
I think they've convinced themselves a large part of that. They're going to be wrong, but they've convinced themselves that that's a lot of the case. Yeah.
So if they are going to draft a wide receiver, then this goes back to the conversation that kind of Shime and I have back and forth. So then that means you're going to trade down because if the best wide receiver...
Or they just stick it for and take Ted McMillan.
Right, so if the best wide receiver in the draft is Tetero McMillan, he just ran, I think it was like a 4.4 something at his pro day.
4.48.
4.48. So
how does it compare to N'Keal Harry?
4.48.
4.48's in good range. You wanted anything below 4.6, you're chilling.
So
Grown adult men who do mocks, an ick.